Today we're going to be looking at Yin Style Baguazhang, the Kun trigram Qilin or Qixing, or the unicorn system. It's definitely not the Western unicorn with the horn on its head. It's very different. And so this is the pure Yin. The Kun trigram is 3 broken lines, pure Yin. So it's the most flexible, soft, malleable, contracted of all the trigrams. The unicorn posture is like this. It has the idea of gathering in. So something like the lion, which is really expanded, the unicorn is gathering in. So even though we're not collapsed and we're expanded in a sense, everything is gathering in. So the legs are closing, the arms are stretched, but they have this quality of rolling and coming in. So this contracted gathering together quality, which is an embodiment of the yin qualities of the unicorn. Because the Kun trigram is 3 broken lines, the joints are quite mobile and the movements are quite fluid, and it has a lot of softness and mobility to it. We're not really dominating necessarily, we're flowing with, and it really is the receptive principle. And so what we endeavor to do is apply this receptive principle into our practice and into our martial arts. And so this is a system that wasn't fleshed out traditionally. What I've done is I've taken the basic posture and the basic ideas and the classical teachings from this and just applied it to martial arts with some ideas that are in alignment with the unicorn or the Qixing system of Yin Style Baguazhang. So with this unicorn posture, what happens is as this rolls and gathers, we could take this into its natural trajectory coming across. And with this gathering and receiving quality in Kun trigram, we can apply this to martial arts just with a simple rotation movement of gathering in. So if Dusty gives me like a straight push like this, or a straight punch, or even a push or something like that, I can basically meet it and just go a little bit slow. I can meet it and gather it and just bring it past. And I'm basically broken, I'm not exerting, but I'm taking this force and I can mess around with receiving. So come on in. And then another part of the unicorn from here is these kind of overhand drawing up the center line and releasing. And so we can combine those two is if this comes, and notice I'm just being really loose. So you can come around to the other side and just release. So just relax for a second. So what I'm doing is I'm not using structure, I'm using release. So I get my arms nice and big and just basically release almost like a hammer. Like if you hold your arms out, right? It's just like, it's just a lot of flopping around and a lot of cycling through the mobility of the joints, right? And so if you hold out your arm out like this, if I use a lot of tension, I could use strength here, but really I'm just letting the weight drop and go through. So it's a very soft way of exerting force. And so when I do my strikes, that's the way I'm doing it, right? So with some of these strikes too, we're just letting the momentum and the force move through the body, through the joints to create a force. And so again, it's just kind of loose. So if I do Dusty, I can just let it move through pretty easy. Different than some of the postures in the yang animals. So I'm just letting it move through. I'm obviously coordinating my weight, dropping my weight, letting it move through my system. But I'm not really using any tension, so to speak. Another thing we look at is going different directions. And unicorn has this idea of kind of flipping. And so we have left-right flipping, and we have top-bottom flipping. And what I mean by that is I may present up here and go ahead and block that like you normally would, but I would also come to the other side too. I might go high and then come low, and then come high, go left and come right. And so I'm kind of just doing all these different, coming from different angles, right? And just letting it kind of be loose and really relaxed.
And it's like as you're crashing in and I'm trying to defend it, you're already there. Kind of like I was showing you with the chi sound.
Yeah.
How it's like you're already
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and then because you have this quality,
Yeah.
it's like you're still controlling me as you're making contact. So it's like
it's going through you instead of like.
It's just not the impact. The impact sucks, but what sucks is like the fact that I'm being controlled and being smacked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At the same time.
At the same time. So that's a really cool quality. That's
Unicorn, because it's very mobile, also we deviate a lot with our posture. Like some of the other animals is like the spine is very taut, and even though we might have a taut spine, we're actually using like kind of different angles, a little bit. I don't want to say loosey-goosey because I still have my conditions, but my solar and lunar plexus are kind of moving around a little bit. So there's more mobility. And so what I can do, it creates like different angles that I can use, both for evasion and for striking. And so like when I come in here and like come around, it's like there's a lot of like body movement. And that's why a lot of this momentum comes out, is because of the undulation of the body. So if you're like if you like reach for my face or whatever, like I might, use that flexibility and that mobility. Unicorn being ultimately very soft and mobile, not really assertive. So I just do whatever I can do to be relaxed and get out of the way. Yeah, so getting the hips out of the way and doing all this stuff, it might be good if he like comes in for a takedown or whatever. It's just like moving around a little bit. So in general, we don't like to go force against force, but especially with unicorn, we want to let sometimes stick it in here, sometimes just get out of the way. So if he does like a big like roundhouse, what I want to do is I want to maybe make contact but allow it to move through. So do that nice and slow. It's like I might do a roll. I'm doing a combination of things where I'm getting my head out of the way, but I'm also letting this pass, and I'm also creating some stickiness too. I'm encouraging my partner to continue to move. I'm not stopping his movement. So do that again. It's like here. But just the idea of using these undulations and these movements to set up advantageous situations without having to necessarily oppose or meet any force. So there's this like kind of downward earth contracting quality that we can use when our opponent or our partner has their structure is broken, they can no longer hold on. So if you do one of those like things again, go ahead, just do nice and slow, and we break it, his structure, we just kind of drop into wherever he's weak. So give me another one of those, whatever. So I'm just kind of breaking and dropping. So here, I'll do that one again slow. So here, it's like I let this go by. Here, I'll just do a slow motion one. Here, get him in here, get me here. And then now he's broken. And so I'm just dropping that one. So, ooh, that's bad. That's like an ankle. Some of these whipping qualities can be useful if someone's got a good guard up. So if you got a good guard up, because we have a lot of rotations, you can open up the guard and move through it. It's really tough to keep your guard up with something like this. And it's not because I'm yanking and I'm pulling it. I'm just using the momentum and the weight of my body, essentially, with this momentum and coiling. So I'm using this stretch and this gather in, right? And this is from the posture, but I can use it. So the unicorn has some of these like kind of loose flowing qualities where all the joints are loose.
So, yes.
Yes. So that was really nice because there's a momentum that happens there.
That's so cool.
There's also a little bit of a whipping quality as the movement moves through the joints, and it can end in a fist. Unicorn also has like glass cutting, this idea of cutting glass. So like it can be a pretty fast and effective strike that can be put out. It can be put out here and creating like a little fist. So go ahead and just put your hand out, right? So it could actually be very fast. You can move through it, of course, but you can also just through the contraction. I don't want to do it on this side because this is where your bones are, right? But you can see how that's just a very fast, getting into the ribs, zhǎng right in there, you know, temple, crotch, like you can do really just kind of send these out. So these are some ideas that are consistent with the unicorn being the Kun trigram. I have to say that these aren't necessarily classical from the lineage, but they are consistent with the qualities that are inherent in the Kun trigram. Thanks for watching. Glad you take an interest in Baguazhang and Chinese internal arts. My name is Garth Reynolds. If you want to learn more, you can visit Bagua Internal Arts, where you can get into more depth about the training. Thanks a lot.